The train station was quiet that evening, the kind of quiet that made footsteps sound louder, and every rustle of the leaves seemed like a whisper. Emily Carter stood near the edge of the platform, her worn brown handbag pressed against her side. She looked small in her faded jeans and blue cardigan, her shoulders slightly bent with the weight of the day. She had only $10 left. It was folded neatly in her purse, saved for a bus ride home and perhaps a sandwich. For the last few weeks, every choice had been heavy: food or transport, rent or medicine. Emily glanced at the timetable board, the letters flickering under the dim station lights. She still had some time before the last train. She shifted her weight and tried not to think about the growing emptiness in her stomach. It was then that a man approached her, his steps uncertain, his clothes travel-worn. He looked at her, then at the ground, as though weighing his words. The man cleared his throat softly, his voice low. "Excuse me, miss, I hate to bother you, but I need a ticket. I don't have enough money. Could you help me?" Emily froze. Her fingers brushed the small purse in her handbag. The last $10, that was all she had. If she gave it away, she would have to walk home. The thought of walking through the chilly autumn night made her shiver. But then she looked at him. His shoes were scuffed. His eyes carried a weight she recognized: hunger, exhaustion, and the kind of weariness that came from more than a long day. She knew that feeling too well. Emily hesitated, her heart caught between fear and kindness. She whispered, "I only have $10, but, if it helps you, you can take it." The man blinked, surprised. His voice trembled when he said, "Are you sure?" Emily nodded. "Yes, take it." Emily pulled the small bill from her purse. It looked so thin, so fragile, yet it meant everything. She pressed it into his hands before she could change her mind. He stared at it for a long moment, as though it were not just paper, but a lifeline. His lips parted as if to speak, but no words came. Instead, his eyes softened, shimmering with gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered. "You don't know what this means." Emily gave a small smile, though her stomach knotted. "It's all right. Take care of yourself." He nodded quickly, clutching the bill as though afraid it might vanish. He turned and hurried toward the ticket window, his worn backpack bouncing against his side. Emily watched him go. A chill passed through her as the wind swept across the platform, rustling the dry leaves. She hugged her cardigan tighter. She had no money left, no plan, just the long walk home waiting for her. Still, her heart felt strangely light. From where she stood, Emily saw the man at the counter. He held out the $10 with both hands, as though it were too valuable to risk dropping. The clerk gave him a ticket and some change. For a moment, he turned back. Their eyes met across the platform. His gaze was steady, searching. He looked as though he wanted to say something, but the station whistle blew, and the moment broke. Emily lowered, her eyes, her cheeks warm. She was not used to being looked at like that, as if her small act mattered. The train's headlights glowed in the distance. The sound of iron wheels against tracks grew louder. Emily stepped back, pressing her handbag close. She had no ticket, no ride. Her path was clear now. She would walk home. The man disappeared into the train, his figure swallowed by the shadows of its doors. The whistle cried once more, and the train rolled forward, carrying him away into the night. Emily left the station once the train was gone. The streets were empty, quiet except for the whisper of wind through the trees. Her shoes tapped softly against the pavement. She pulled her cardigan tighter. The night air bit against her skin, sharp and cold. It would be a long walk home. Still, her steps felt steady. In her mind, she replayed the man's expression. The way his eyes had softened when she handed him the $10. The way his voice shook when he said thank you. She whispered to herself, it was worth it. The small sacrifice left her empty-handed, but it filled her with something else. A quiet strength, a reminder that she was not powerless, even when she had so little. As she turned a corner, the lights of her small apartment building came into view. Her legs ached, but her heart carried a fragile peace. She did not know that this single act would echo far beyond that night. The apartment was quiet when she stepped inside. A single lamp glowed weakly in the corner, casting shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Asterisk. Emily set her handbag on the table, slipped off her shoes, and lowered herself onto the chair. She rubbed her hands together, trying to bring warmth back to her fingers. Asterisk. The cupboards were nearly empty. A half loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, a few tea bags. That would have to last until her next paycheck. Asterisk. Her body ached from the long walk, but her heart still clung to the memory of the man's gratitude. She could still see the look in his eyes, a look she would not forget. Asterisk. Emily made a simple sandwich and sat on her bed to eat it. Each bite felt heavy, yet comforting. She whispered a quiet prayer, not for herself, but for the stranger she had helped. Asterisk. Outside, the wind swept through the streets, carrying her kindness into the night. Asterisk. Morning came softly. Pale light slipped through the thin curtains, painting her room in shades of gold. Asterisk. Emily stretched, her joints stiff from the cold night. She sat on the edge of the bed, listening to the hum of the street below. Another day, another search for hours at the cafe where she worked. Asterisk. Her eyes moved to the handbag on the table. Inside, there was no money left. But instead of regret, she felt something different. She had given all she had, and somehow, she did not feel broken. She felt alive. Asterisk. She dressed quietly, pulling on her blue cardigan once more. The day would bring its own struggles, but she carried a memory with her now. A small reminder that her kindness had mattered. Asterisk. As she tied her hair back, she whispered to herself, maybe kindness always finds a way back. She did not know how true those words would become. Weeks passed. Life went on in its quiet rhythm. Work at the cafe, long walks home, small meals made to last. Asterisk. And yet, the memory of that night remained. Sometimes, while wiping tables or pouring coffee, she would think of the man. Had he reached where he needed to go? Did he find shelter? Did her $10 carry him toward a better day? Asterisk. One evening, Emily found herself at the station again. The same place, the same wooden benches, the same soft orange light in the sky. She stood near the edge of the platform, her handbag on her shoulder. Asterisk. This time, she was not waiting for a train, she was simply passing by. Yet something about the place pulled her to stop, to remember. Asterisk. As she looked around, she did not know that this station, the same quiet spot where she gave away her last $10, was about to give something back to her. As Emily stood by the platform, a voice called softly behind her. Miss. She turned, her breath caught in her chest. Asterisk. It was him, the man from weeks ago, but he was different now. His clothes were clean, a simple but well-fitted suit. His hair was neat, his posture confident. The weary traveler she remembered was gone. Asterisk. He smiled as he walked closer. Do you remember me? Asterisk. Emily nodded slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. You're the man from that night. Asterisk. Yes, he said, his eyes warm. I never forgot what you did. You gave me your last $10. You didn't even know me. Asterisk. Emily shifted uneasily, clutching her handbag. It wasn't much. I just wanted to help. Asterisk. His smile widened, almost tender. It was everything, more than you realize. Asterisk. Emily felt her heart beat faster. Something was different about him, something she couldn't yet understand. Asterisk. Please, he said, gesturing toward a bench. Sit with me for a moment. Asterisk. Emily hesitated, then slowly nodded. They sat side by side, the hum of the station around them. Asterisk. He folded his hands. That night, I was lost, not just without money. I had nothing left. I was ready to give up on everything. And then, you helped me. Asterisk. Emily looked at him, her eyes wide. But it was only $10. Asterisk. He shook his head gently. No, it was hope. When you handed me that bill, it wasn't the money. It was the kindness. You reminded me that people still cared, that I still mattered. Asterisk. Emily's throat tightened. She had not thought of it that way. For her, it was just a small act. But for him, it had carried weight she could not have seen. Asterisk. She whispered. I'm glad it helped. Asterisk. He leaned closer. It did more than help. It changed everything. Asterisk. He continued softly. After that night, I took the train. I went to meet someone who had once been my business partner. I had been running from failure, hiding from my mistakes. But because of you, I found the courage to face it, to try again. Asterisk. Emily stared at him, her lips parting slightly. Asterisk. He nodded, his gaze steady, and things turned around. More than I ever imagined. The business is thriving again. I am in a place I never thought I'd reach. and it started with you, with that moment. Asterisk. Emily shook her head slowly. I don't understand. I only gave you $10. That can't be what made the difference. Asterisk. His voice softened, warm with certainty. Sometimes, the smallest act becomes the spark that saves a life. That's what you gave me. Asterisk. Emily's eyes stung as tears welled. She looked down at her hands, overwhelmed by the weight of his words. Asterisk. He reached for the leather briefcase at his side and opened it carefully. From within, he pulled out a plain white envelope. Asterisk. He set it gently on the bench between them. Emily blinked. What's this? Asterisk. His eyes softened. A gift. A thank you for saving me when I needed it most. Asterisk. She shook her head quickly, her voice breaking. No, I don't need anything. I didn't help you for a reward. Asterisk. No, he said, his tone steady. That's why it means so much. You gave when you had almost nothing. That's rare, and I want to honor that. Asterisk. Emily looked at the envelope, her hands trembling. She did not reach for it. Her mind spun with confusion and fear. Asterisk. He leaned closer, his voice gentle. It's not just money, it's a chance for you to breathe again, to live without the weight of every dollar holding you down. Emily's heart pounded in her chest. With trembling hands, Emily reached for the envelope. Her fingers slid under the flap, pulling it open slowly. Asterisk. Inside was a thick stack of bills, more money than she had ever held in her life, and tucked beside it, a folded letter. Asterisk. Her breath caught. Tears blurred her vision. I can't take this. Asterisk. The man's voice was calm, certain. You can, and you must, because it's not charity, it's a circle. You gave to me when I had nothing. Now I give to you. Asterisk. Emily covered her mouth with her hand, her shoulders shaking. She had lived so long with scarcity, with the fear of tomorrow, and now, in her hands, was a future she had not dared to dream of. Asterisk. She whispered. Why me? Asterisk. He smiled gently. Because you gave me hope when you had so little. Now it's my turn to give it back. Asterisk. Emily wiped her tears, her fingers brushing her damp cheeks. The envelope sat heavy in her lap, not just with money, but with meaning. Asterisk. The man stood, adjusting his suit. His eyes held warmth, respect, and something unspoken. Asterisk. I may not see you again, he said softly, but I will never forget you, and I hope you never forget this. Even the smallest kindness matters. It can change a life. Asterisk. Emily rose to her feet, clutching the envelope to her chest. Thank you, she whispered. Her voice shook, but her eyes glowed with quiet strength. Asterisk. He gave a final nod, then turned toward the departing train. His figure moved with confidence, yet carried humility. Asterisk. Emily stood still, watching him go. Her heart beat with a strange mixture of peace and wonder. The station seemed different now, filled with a quiet kind of magic. Asterisk. The sky deepened into dusk as Emily stepped away from the station. The envelope rested against her chest, pressed close, like a promise. Asterisk. Her footsteps were steady, her shoulders straighter than before. She still wore her blue cardigan, still carried her worn handbag, but something inside her had shifted. Asterisk. For years, life had felt like a constant weight. Every choice had been survival, but now there was room to breathe, room to dream. Asterisk. Emily looked toward the fading horizon. She did not know what tomorrow would hold, but she knew this her kindness had returned to her in ways she could never have imagined. She smiled through the last of her tears. The night air felt lighter now, carrying her forward, and with every step she understood more deeply. Asterisk. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness is not small at all. It is the beginning of something greater, something that can change a life, perhaps even two.